All right, so here I just wanted to create a video to go over a couple of key steps, a process basically that I'll use with my pitchers to help them learn the feel for the first two key moves in that 5 power moves video section that you'll see in this program. Also the early momentum or early weight shift, getting the hips kind of that head start, moving down the mound, and then following that up with that backside power engager, basically sitting into your stride a little bit. Once you create that good early weight shift, sitting into your stride and letting your hips start accelerating down the mound, which is a key thing. And it's tough for a pitcher to learn what this feels like if he's never felt that before in his pitching delivery. Okay, the body doesn't really want to go where it hasn't gone before, so it's helpful to give them some steps and some exercises to help learn those feels. And that's something I'll get asked a lot by coaches is, that's great, those videos were extremely helpful for understanding what goes on in the pitching delivery and why those hard-throwing big league pitchers are able to generate so much power by getting those first two moves right in their pitching motion. How do I help a young pitcher or a high school pitcher, a college pitcher even, learn what that feels like in his own pitching motion? So that's what this video is going to go over real quick. A couple of key steps, and the thing I like about these also is that it gives the pitcher a way to work on these things on their own. They're things that they can just do in their own bedroom, wherever they've got a little space to work on without even having to throw a baseball. They can get this work on, some dry work, and start developing these feels and imprinting what those movements feel like into their pitching delivery and really developing those movements into their pitching motion. All right, so the first exercise that I find helpful for working on this, just to let the pitcher know what that early weight shift feels like, kind of getting those hips leading the action, is a drill you may have seen before. I've posted elsewhere before and others have used this drill. It's not like I invented this, but it's the Hersheiser drill. I have a different way that I like to work on this, is instead of taking the knee up or the leg up and then slamming my hip into the wall, just give the pitcher the feel for what that position feels like, for having those hips moved forward from their back leg, and my hip is the only thing touching the wall here. So you just get the pitcher up next to the wall, get them putting their hip into the wall, and then lifting up the knee, lifting up their leg wherever they want to be here is fine, but the key is they're not leaning in with their shoulders, and they're not having their knee up against the wall. It's the hips leading the action, and then you can just work on kind of handbrake coming out of their leg lift here. And then you can have them challenge themselves by, okay, that's what that feels like. Let me get a little farther away and sit into it a little more instead of just being locked out with the back leg. Engage that back leg by bending the knee a little, sit into it, and see how far away they can get and kind of feel that movement and recognize that's where I want to be in my pitching motion. It's still loaded up as I come out of that leg lift. So this is just going to be single leg squats, and the way you can do this very easily, these aren't going to come naturally to everyone, and depending on your mobility and your hips, ankles, knees, and everything will depend how deep you're able to get into this. But what I'm going to do is get a little bit away from the wall where I can kind of use my right hand, my throwing hand. So I'm going to be loading into my back leg as a righty. That's my right leg. Use my right hand to just keep me up and keep from falling over, but I'm not leaning against the wall here. Just kind of lightly touching the wall. I'm going to take my lead arm out front, my lead leg out front. So this is kind of my counterbalance. If you're coming out of your leg lift, that front leg and front arm are kind of your counterbalance. And you just take them out to keep from falling over again, right? And I'm just going to sit back, sit down into that back leg as deep as I can get without really leaning over. You don't want to be like coming here with this drill. We want to think about this exercise as we're coming out of our leg lift, maintaining that good athletic, powerful posture. But just think about that picture, help them think about sitting back over that back leg. Really should be engaging this part, this whole backside, posterior chain of his back leg, and feeling that backside power engager where he's activating those muscles, learning what that feels like. And that's great. And then follow that up with now working on getting that good early weight shift and feel that engage in the back leg in your delivery, and you kind of put them together. Then I'll just get them up against the wall, get a little bit distance away from the wall, and now work on putting the two together. So working on that early weight shift, and then engage in the back leg, and just trying to connect it, and just do some dry work that way. Early weight shift, sitting into their stride as they move down the mound. Then you just start to put it together that way, getting in the reps and focused quality reps so they can feel, am I getting that early weight shift? And am I sitting back into my stride as I move down the mound? And just